prepared to share. Let's go. We are live streaming this morning. This class is being recorded. Yesterday, we introduced into hair removal, and we studied, and you can see from the highlights, why study hair removal. We talked about excessive hair. We also started talking about hirsutism, which is a condition of excessive hair growth on the face, chest, underarms, and groin, as you may see in the photos. And we strategically added highlights for areas of study. And as you can see here, we talked about hypertrichosis, which is excessive terminal hair growth in body areas, okay, that normally grow only vellus hair. So remember the term vellus as we begin to move on, because you're going to learn about 3 types of hair. Our body goes through 3 types of hair in our life duration. We have vellus, we have lanugo, and we have terminal hair, okay? Vellus hair, lanugo, and terminal hair. So you're going to see that on down the line. Hypertrichosis here is excessive terminal hair. That's hair that you're going to have for the rest of your life. Hair that has color to it, hair that has a little weight to it, okay? And so terminal hair, excessive amounts of hair in these highlighted areas will be called hypertrichosis. And normally it is not usual for a woman to have hair on their chest. But as she's servicing your clients and you start to see that she may have a little hair on your chest, or she shares with you an intimate information that she has hair on her chest, what should she do? We got to figure out what it is. We're not doctors, but it's within our scope to figure out what it is. So anytime there's an issue with hypertrichosis or abnormal hair growth, I'm always going to think about the endocrine system, our hormonal balancing system. I'm going to take in consideration the age of my client, and I'm going to take into consideration her reproductive system. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I'm first going to think about when I see hair in places that usually hair do not grow. Okay. And so especially if you're supposed to be vellus hair, which is hair that has no pigment, you can feel it. Feels like it's very soft, it's translucent. But then when you have replaced that soft translucent hair with terminal hair, and it's a lot of hair in those areas, you start to see it. And one question also is genetics. I start asking about the father. I start asking about the mother and the grandparents. Is this something that goes down the line in the family? Do you have any other siblings that have these particular issues? So I'm always going to look at those factors, okay? It says excessive hair growth may also be associated with underlying medical issues, diseases, disorders, or syndromes. So its identification as something else may be going on. And it's a maybe, not necessarily means it is, but it's a maybe. Let's look at temporary hair removal. Now, this is our lesson objective 3. It says temporary hair removal methods, some of which salons or spas may offer and are discussed below. Some of our clients will do these at home. This is what I tend to tell clients. If you're going to choose to wax, you have to stop shaving, okay? If you're going to choose to wax, you have to stop shaving. Because now the person who is doing the wax, a part of my analyzation is looking at areas and determining when was the last time that hair was removed. Since we know hair on the scalp grows about a ½ inch a month, you have hair in other areas that may be up to 1/4 to 1/8 inch a month, 1/8 to 1/4 inch a month. I would do my calculations depending on what time of the what period you are in the middle of the month. Based on how long that hair is, it should tell me when the last time that they removed that hair. Um, so if I see little bitty pieces coming through in a wide particular area, little bitty pieces, that tells me not too long ago. Okay, not too long ago that they removed that hair. Could have been a couple of days. Because for one, when you shave, it does not remove the entire hair. It only cuts the hair shaft on an angle. So it leaves a little bit of the hair sticking out of the pores. Okay. It feels a little smooth when you start, but afterwards, after a couple of hours, you'll be able to feel this brush-like feel. Okay. And so that helps me determine how long it's been. Here's another reason, take into your notes, why, if you're going to wax, you got to stop everything else. Here's another reason. I need to find out what timer the hair growth is on, what kind of clock the hair growth is on. Because we have 3 stages of hair growth: anagen, catagen, and telogen. Okay. My goal is to find out where is my client when they come in for a hair removal. Are they in the anagen stage, the catagen stage, or the telogen stage? If you're waxing in between the services, I cannot tell what stage my client is in. And if that happens, you're going to get normally somebody, if I do a Brazilian, you don't have to come back for about 3 weeks. And you'll start seeing little peach fuzz and whatever. So 3 weeks and come back, do a bikini. And maybe 4 weeks for the full, 4 to 5 weeks for the full Brazilian. All right. So if I do a Brazilian and the following week you're telling me that hair is growing back, what is going on? Hair is growing back. Well, the one that did it, the professional, the practitioner, may not really be their fault. And it's growing back because somewhere in between, you did some other hair removal. You did some temporary hair removal. You shaved. And so the hair that was waxed is gone. But what's popping up now is the shaved hair that lay dormant, the hair that was removed temporarily from, like things like nair, shaving, tweezing. The hair that was temporarily removed is now starting to pop up. Okay. So this is also why reason they said, well, give it a couple of weeks, let it all grow in so we can remove it at the same time. And so even if you're going to be waxing, underarm waxing, things like that, I tell people stress, pick one and stick to it. I would prefer the waxing or the sugaring. Okay. And then we let it grow out, let it all grow out together so we can start from scratch. So when you constantly keep going back and forth, we don't know what areas, what stage the hair growth is in. And then so when you think you're paying for something, the hair is going to be gone for a set amount of time, and then you start seeing hair pop up after a week, 2 weeks. That person could have extreme hair growth, but it's simply those hairs that were shaved before that were lying dormant underneath the skin or laying close to the skin, and now they're coming out, which means you got to go back and wax again. So not all the time that is something wrong with the wax. They didn't get it off. No, it's because of those uneven cycles of hair removal, and now we got to get it all together. Okay. So it's that's something to look for, and we're going to engage in that. It says, did you know shaving does not cause hair to grow back thicker or stronger? It seems that way because the razor blunts the hair ends and make them feel stiff. All right. It blunts, it cuts it off, it's sharp, it doesn't move. Okay. And so shaving the hair to grow back thicker or stronger. Now, one thing I will tell you from an esthetician point of view, if you start hair removal too early, okay, if you start hair removal too early, it does signal that, oh, this person is maturing, they're growing. So we need to get rid of the baby hair. We should be replacing it with terminal hair. And so when I say, and this is, with young ladies, I'm gonna just say young ladies, just say you start putting deodorant on young ladies 5, 6, 7 years old. Their glands are going to mature because they think that, hey, we're behind, we need to get started. So it's like you push them into a form of adolescence, a form of puberty. You're literally pushing them. And so if the underarms are a little stiff or whatever for the young ladies, try some alternatives like baking soda, lemon juice, just different things that you can use that it kind of calm odor down. But once you start using deodorant, I will start with aluminum free deodorant. Okay. And as they mature, 16 and up, you can see how that works. You may want to change the deodorant, but I would definitely start with aluminum free. And so everything is, when your body is changing, these glands are also saying it's time for us to go to work. It's time for us to go to work. And so when we prematurely remove hair from the face, okay, we prematurely start with deodorant under the underarm and things of that nature. We just kind of slingshot our glands, our endocrine system, our hormones into another place. And they're just scrambled. Okay. And so we have to be very careful with that as well. So even parameters when you're doing waxing or when you're doing some form of hair removal is having these conversations. And if they're under 18, you definitely need to speak with the parents or the guardians. Let's look at shaving. It's a common form of temporary hair removal, often the target area by applying a warm, moist towel and then applying a shaving cream or lotion that lubricates and calms the skin. All right. So shaving, the skin has to be softened. Okay. So shaving is a common form of temporary hair removal. Make sure you know. You soften the target area by applying a warm towel, moist towel, and then apply a shaving cream or lotion that lubricates and calms the skin. Here's one thing about shaving. When done dry, okay, it's more susceptible to cutting the skin, drying out the skin. When you're shaving, you're taking the hair off at an angle, but you are also removing the top layer of dead skin cells. Okay. And so individuals with sensitive skin, especially on the face, normally their skin will react to the blade being on the face. Okay. In that manner. And so this is why sometimes you have some men who can't use shavers on their face. All right. Just because of the skin, temporary, it's a temporary form of hair removal, but also at the same time, it's removing layers of dead skin cells. And some skin is just very sensitive to those razors. And so you'll find if you look at barbers, they opt for clippers and liners and things of that nature to do the detail on a male's face. And so even with ladies, if you have hair that is like sometimes with individuals that have endocrine issues, PCOS or reproductive issues, you may see hair on the chin or, this hypertrichosis. You may see hair in areas where normally women don't have hair. And so do not take a blade or shaver and cut that off, because what it does, it removes that dead skin cells, but also the skin has to repair itself. All right, so you got to have time for the skin to repair itself. I don't know what else you're going to do to your skin, but the skin is left open and has time, it needs time to repair itself, which means it needs to rebuild that layer of skin back. Also, the razor could cause dark spots. It could cause accumulation of oil, sweat, and dirt to set up. And you literally can transfer from one area to the next. This is why also many individuals do not prefer razors on their face because it picks up. And as you go back on it, it just places the germs, dirty bacteria in another area. So for women, I would say please tweeze those hairs or get it waxed or get it sugared. I would not do a razor. And here's the thing about women's skin and men's skin. Men's skin is made tougher, just genetically. They're built different. Okay. Their skin is tougher. So their skin can take more than what a lady's skin can take. Okay. Um, barber, the hair that's on the male, the men, the facial hair, it's built tougher. It's stronger than the hair that we may get in little pieces on our chin. Okay. It's just built different. They're built different. Okay. And so they're built to withhold more. And ours is more so in a feminine state. It's not built to hold that. So you see them using razors on the face. We can't use razors on the face like that. And even Tennessee, when you look at estheticians and cosmetology, the scope of practice, it is against our laws to use a blade on the face. We can't do any eyebrows. We should not be doing any dermaplaning with a bare blade. None of that. Okay. We can use protective blades on the face. As a cosmetologist, you can use a protective blade, which means your blade got to have a guard on. Okay, which means doesn't make it really, you don't have any sharp finishes on the face. Okay, and when it comes to dermaplaning, a lot of individuals, even my estheticians, go down to the little small hair removal thing you can buy at the beauty supply store on the top of the counter. And so that's considered a guarded blade as well. So it's not as sharp, but has a little defense on it. So shaving, many individuals use this for their legs. They also use it for intimate areas. But remember, it does not remove all of the hair. It's going to leave the little like sharp ends. And you're going to start to see, when people say 5 o'clock shadow, you start to see the shadow of the hair come back. With women, shaving under the arm, when I told you, it's just taking oil, sweat, and dirt and putting it in a different place. It can cause that area to be dark. Okay. And so with women, we need to choose whether we're going to wax or we're going to sugar or are we going to laser for that underarm. I always suggest waxing. And if they're dealing with, if they have an issue all the time where they deal with boils and stuff, I would say sugaring. Okay. What do you guys do in the chat? What do you guys do? Do you wax or do you sugar? Do you shave? Do you use Nair? Wax, okay. What age did you start waxing? You like waxing? I like waxing, y'all. Okay, okay, okay. Um, but I am very sensitive in my underarms. Very, very sensitive in my underarms. So special events is when I do my underarms. And I'm a little dramatic as well. So prepare for a show because I am going to squirm. I'm going to do everything you ever thought people would do. I'm going to do it. That's just how I am. I'm a really bad person to have in the chair, although I teach. I'm either very quiet or I'm going to be very dramatic. I'm sorry, but my underarm and I'm ticklish. So that's really the thing is, and I'm ticklish to like the 10th degree. Okay. Which means you would say, you are, now, come on, your big old self. Are you serious? But yeah. I don't like shaving my underarm, so I will let it grow out and I wax it. But what I found is that I should wax it more because when I let it grow out to longer hairs, that's really what hurts. Okay, yeah, as long as you're consistent. Yeah, my underarm. Whew. And I can do all my other waxing myself, but I want to lay there and let somebody do my under because I've had so many stories of students going home doing stuff, and I'm like having to walk them through it. I'm like, the underarms, I ain't gonna be able to do. Okay, it says an electric clipper or trimmer may also be used, particularly to remove unwanted hair at the nape of the neck. And so most men of color normally would use an electric clipper or a trimmer to do outlining. Okay, and so you won't find them too much using razors. Razors can be used on other parts of the body and probably have no side effects, no other causes, no issues. But I must tell you that the skin on the face is much different from the skin on the rest of the body. Okay. And so you're liable to see more issues with using those razors on the face than you would see, when using them on other parts of the body. So it's going to be up to each its own type thing. Applying pre-shaving lotion helps reduce irritation. So it's just something that helps calm the skin down, okay, and prepare the skin. So we talked about softening the skin. Um, when you soften the skin, you open the pores. You can do this with steam. Same thing as you would use in a hot towel. It opens the pores. And what happens when it opens the pores, the steam or the hot towel opens the pores, you have whatever's inside of the pore, hashtag follicle, gonna come up. The heat is gonna draw it to the surface. Okay. This is why also when those individuals get like the razor line, it looks so clean. Their skin looks so clean in that particular area because whatever was inside that pore also has come up to the surface. And so a layer of dead skin cells has also been removed with the hair. So it's going to look squeaky clean. Using some aftershave lotion will keep the skin calm and laid down, that it does not have any adverse reactions that we discussed yesterday, such as redness, itchiness, so on and so on. So I know with women, we think we can go in the shower, we can just shave. But remember what men have to use, they prep the skin, and then they also have to have something after a post prep after the shaving. And so we're just in the shower, the hot water may have prepped the skin by, the steam, softening the pores, open it up, and then you're shaving. And then afterwards, you're not using anything to calm the skin down. So you definitely should follow the same routine as a barber and use something like witch hazel padded that would close, or rose water is good, that would close those pores, gently close those pores. If not, their skin is going to continuously peel. Let's look at tweezing. Okay, now we have a term. Make sure we understand this. You will have to show tweezing as the State Board for Tennessee. Okay. Now, if you're going to do some waxing and you're clean up, if you're going to do soft wax, you can't go back over the area once you wax. So your only other option is tweezing. Okay. So I want you to get as much hair as you can on the soft wax and then only have to do minimum tweezing. If you have to tweeze a whole eyebrow, we did something wrong. Some people prefer only tweezing, but tweezing is normally for individuals. You just got to do cleanup, one or two hairs. For me, that pain, I don't like a lot of tweezing. I'll let you get one or two hairs, but you're not going to get 40, 50 hairs. I'm like, what happened? It tells me that the wax did not do what it was supposed to do, or it wasn't applied in the area it was supposed to be applied. And sometimes that happens when we're a little scared. But remember, the client only have a small window. They're not going to let you constantly keep torturing them, so you got to make sure you're doing the right thing the first time. Hold on one moment. I get a little water. All right, let's go. All right, so with tweezing, our term for remembrance, page 705, hair removal method that involves pulling one hair at a time out by the root, okay, using the tweezers. There are many different types of tweezers. And also there's certain ways that you have to remove the hair. What we're going to do, we're never going to go pull the hair against the hair growth. So if against the grain, if the hair is growing over to the left with tweezing, you're going to pull hair out, still going over to the left. You would never pull hair with the tweezer going the opposite direction. If so, you will break the hair. You'll push the hair back in and you will break the hair. Okay. And you can cause an ingrown hair and more pain for your client. So you got to be careful when tweezing. You don't want to break the hair. You don't want to go against the grain. You're going to go with the grain. And when you pull this out, okay? And tweezing is going to pull the full follicle, the full strand out with the hair bulb on the end, the little white hair bulb. When you see that little hair bulb in your waxing, in your sugaring, in your tweezing, you need to know that follicle is clear. Okay, so now you've made room for another hair to begin to grow in that root area. And 9 times out of 10, it takes anywhere between 14 to 21 days for you to start seeing something. And that hair, after about 30 days, you're definitely going to see something, and it's going to be time for removal again. So most times waxing, tweezing is going to be about 21 days. Okay. And you make a decision between 21 and 30 days how much you're going to remove. Okay, it's commonly used to shape eyebrows and remove undesirable hairs around the mouth and chin. All right, eyebrow arching is often done as part of professional makeup service. And so arching comes in with makeup. You can a la carte it, or most of the time when you're doing a face wax or you're selling a face wax, the brows can be separate. All right. The face wax would not include brows. Well, they haven't lately. Okay. So if you're going to sell a face wax, you're going to do lips. All right. Chin. Pork chops, pork chops with sideburn and pork chops. If a person has any hair around the sides, going around the cheeks. So that lower face is going to be that face wax. When you come up, if you want to include the brows, you're going to do the brows, but the brows include cleanup around the hairline and in between each brow. All right. So we may sometimes, and it's usually I try to tell people not to remove anything on the top, but if you can clean up the discoloration where you may have some lanugo hair and also terminal hair, you can get rid of some of the fine hair. It will make your brow stand out. Okay. It will make your brow stand out. So let's look and highlight a little further. It says correctly shaped eyebrows have a strong positive impact on the face's overall attractiveness. All right. Because remember, during the pandemic, we had masks on, but we was definitely getting those lashes. You made sure your lashes and your eyebrows were done because it just kind of, made you feel good. Most people that wore makeup, they couldn't wear makeup, or if they did, they had wherever they were going, they were mandating to put on a mask. So most individuals, I still had a little makeup on, but I started to get a case of mass acne. So I needed to detox my skin more often. So I just stopped wearing the makeup, the foundation until we were out of the mask. Okay. It says the eyebrow's natural arch follows the orbital bone. All right. The orbital bone, whenever you see orbital, it's going to around the eye. So the orbital bone is what this brow sits on. All right. And if you would take a pencil or this tweezer and just put it in the middle of this person's iris, the middle of their eye, the highest part of their brow is going to be the arch. Okay. That's the part that is going to sell your brow services. In some individuals, everybody will have an orbital bone, but in some individuals, you have a natural arch. So you just follow that. And then some, you have to create the arch. Okay, so now you're sculpting. Now you're sculpting, now you're creating. All right. Determining the best eyebrow shape is definitely going to have a heavy emphasis on the shape of the person's face. And the biggest thing, I don't think you have it in here, but you can go into the lash course. When we determine eyebrow shape as well, you need to look at the eyes. Okay. Are the eyes close set or wide set? Okay. If the eyes are close set, that means you probably have a smaller face, eyes together. If they are wide set, you have probably a larger face and the eyes are, that means it's further apart. All right. And so take into consideration those things as well. Also, you take into consideration the eyelid. Okay. The eyelids. That has been a popular surgery recently. Individuals getting their eyelids or the extra skin that overlaps around that eyelid, getting that removed. Okay. And many individuals from, Western part of the world, some of them Asian descent, will get a lid surgery. Okay. And I've seen this and heard and talked to a couple of them in California, friends, and it is a big thing when they choose an eyelid surgery. An eyelid surgery just simply gave them a lap. When some people are trying to take the overage out, the eyelid surgery just gave them a shape, okay, and put a crease, gave them like a crease. And so a lot of times when you're modeling in pictures and things like that, that's the influence. Many individuals from that area thinking to jump into Hollywood or get into entertainment, they need to change their looks. Everybody does that. But I would always say stay true, be yourself, you know. But yeah, eyelid surgery is a thing. It's a thing. So if you're into lashes, take your time, go into the lash portal and just kind of go through it's a whole lesson on lids, okay, and how we should choose lashes based off the eyebrows, based off the lids, and also based off of the eye pupil themselves. Are they far set, they near set, things of that nature. Here, this is more so very easy, surface level, traditional. How you're going to shape the brow. These are the 3 points you're always going to look at. You can take your eyeliner pencil and you'll always put your eyeliner pencil on the side of the nose and hold it straight up. Okay, where that eyeliner pencil lies, no hair should exceed past that pencil. So that's where your brow your brow shaping is going to start. Okay, you should not have a brow that starts in the middle of the nose. That pencil goes here, and that's the beginning of your brow. So that hair cannot exceed into this area. Then you're gonna take and I'm gonna put a mark here. Then I take that same pencil, I leave it and I just turn it. And once I get to a diagonal line where I'm lining up the pencil and the end of the corner of the eye, I'm gonna put a line here where the brow would go. So now I have a dot, I would say. I have a starting point for my brow and I have an ending point for my brow. That means my brow cannot go into my hairline. Okay. The last thing, I will put this pencil, and your book has it 1, 2, 3. So it will do 1, 2, then 3. Also, we'll take that pencil, put it right in the middle or right behind the iris, and that is going to be our natural arch. I'm gonna put a dot. So you literally could draw a line with a white eyeliner from dot to dot to dot. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then you go back with your wax, so you can go back with your tweezer, you can go back with your tint, whatever. That white eyeliner is erasable. You know, sometimes they use chalk as well, but that white eyeliner is erasable. But you're using that connected dot training to get the perfect shape for this particular person, to make sure that both eyebrows are consistent. You will need to do both. Okay. When it comes to eyebrows, they are cousins, they are not sisters. So you don't have twins. You normally will have one with more hair and one with less hair. I always do the one with less hair first. Okay. Because the one with the most hair, I have room, you know, to make a mistake or to get it right. I can continue to move about. But when I perfectly shape the one with the most hair first, I only got a little bit to work with on the other side. They may not come out as balanced. So I always work with the one that has the least amount of hair first. And then it's easy for me to match up what I did with the one that had the most hair. Okay. Determining best eyebrow shape based on a person's facial shape and their facial features. Okay. This is what you do. You definitely make sure you have a thorough consultation. Follow this guideline 1, 2, 3. It's going to stay with you for the rest of your beauty life. Okay. It's going to stay with you. Also, when you go to applying makeup, you're going to use something similar to this as well. Alternate brow shaping guidelines starting at the center of the nose. Now, here's the thing, too. When you've heard of brow mapping, y'all, this is the original brow map. You've heard of brow mapping. This is the original brow map. Okay, you can use this one, and there may be a lot of new trends and things like that out, but this is the original brow map. You follow this map, you can do and duplicate anything you've seen. Okay, and the shape of the brow is going to be balanced with the shape of the eye and the shape of the face. So you know when people are just drawing and they're exaggerating, they've gone outside of the traditional shaping. All right. And this is meant to balance out with your face. So when you see something that's over exaggerated, you know that it did not come from proper measurement. And even as a person does not have eyebrows and you have to make them, you will still use the same guidelines. Okay. So pre-service procedure, post-service procedure, we'll make sure you go in there and pull that, and we'll watch the videos to know the difference between the two. And brow tweezing. Okay. It's a lot of things that are popular that they do to brows now. But you need to have a foundation. So them adding a liner, them adding concealer, all of that is for illusion. You want your client, you need to do the brows the best way you can without that. And then if you want to add a little sculpting, a little illusion, it's fine. But you want the client to wake up in the next day and say, hey, I still see that. And the makeup a lot of time fades away, and then they're left like, what happened? What happened to my brows? You need to shape them as if you're shaping them and they have no makeup on. Okay. You want your clients to really be like, yeah, that's it. And if you need to do some tint to enhance their shape, that would be amazing as well. Let's look at the pilatories. Okay, let's highlight. Now, this is what we see in stores all the time. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to simply tell you this. I've never used Nair, okay, but I know a lot of people do. Nair, as an example, will be considered a depilatory, okay, because it contains detergents to strip the hair sebum. Sebum is oil, okay, and detergent is just like washing, it's washing powder. It's like what you have in shampoo, what you have in soap. So it contains the harsh detergents to strip the hair sebum. When I say strip, that means it's going to pull out all the good moisture in the hair and also on the skin. So those substances to me, being an esthetician cosmetologist, are not good because we got to replace something once they finish, because this high pH detergent uses the term strip the hair sebum. Okay. Sebum is the hair's oil. That's what your body naturally produces. So you're putting something on your skin, on your body, that has a high pH, and the only thing it knows how to do, like bleach, is pull away. So it strips the hair sebum and adhesives to hold the chemical to the hair shaft for the time necessary to remove the hair. Y'all, this over processes the hair. It simply acts as a relaxer that's over processed, or bleach that's over processed, and you leave it there too long, that hair is going to come out. Okay. Notice the ingredient. Yes, Ms. Cos, why do you say it's a relaxer? Because it says sodium hydroxide. That's a relaxer. That's lie. Potassium hydroxide. That's a base of a relaxer. Thioglycolate. That's a permanent wave or jerry curl. And calcium thioglycolate, jerry curl. That destroys the sulfide bonds. Okay. So that means it goes through the cuticle, gets to the sulfide bonds, and the sulfide bonds will usually change from curly to straight. Got it? But if you're going in to destroy the sulfide bond, you're pulling all strength out. You're making it weak. You're messing up the chemical magnetic makeup of the hair. And then when this grows back, we have issues, patchiness, brittleness, all of that. And all of that is simply what it does. It over processes the hair to a point where it just breaks up off. Soon as you touch it, it starts to break away. Now, this product, and I told you about the razor, not only does it cut the hair, it pulls the top layer off. Well, our skin is absorbent. It is the biggest sponge you will ever meet. It is also the largest organ. So whatever you put on the skin, guess what the skin is doing? Absorbing it. Absorbing it. All right. So when we have to do a relaxer, normally it'll relax, and then we got to come back. We will rinse it, and you come back with a neutralizer. What are we doing with the nair? It has the chemicals of a relaxer. It's destroying sebum. Anything that helps is destroying the keratin. Keratin is an adhesive that keep hair together. So it's destroying the makeup of hair. And then also it's destroying the sulfide bond. So if it don't made it that far in, the cuticle is off. If it's on the skin, also it is starting to penetrate into the skin. In those areas, now you have your skin dry. Now it possibly could be itchy. Okay, now it could be redness, could be swelling, could cause an infection. But our skin is it's a sponge. It's gonna absorb whatever you put on it. And if you're putting this chemical like this on the skin, and you're letting it set, not only is it breaking the composition of hair, it's destroying it, it's also doing damage to the skin. Okay? Doing damage to the skin. And so some of our clients come in using this. They come in using this. Okay. Once that hair is broken down, the hair expands, then breaks. Well, once the hair is broken down, it's over. It's no longer considered hair. It's either going to fall out, or you take the towel, or you wipe it. That's what it does. Okay. Magic for the men does the same thing. It's like Nair in a bottle for men. All right. I used to love the way that smelled because it's my granddad. It reminds me of my granddad. He used to shave with this, put it on, then take a credit card or a butter knife and just kind of shave his face, shave it off his face. But that's what it happened. It becomes it softens, breaks the hair, and then you rub it off. Okay. But what's left over is you cause damage to the follicle, and you've also caused damage to their skin. All right. And so this is another reason why people, when you do relaxers, they said don't put it on the skin. So it becomes an issue, and it'll become an issue on down the line, because if you wanted to get a wax in between a depilatory, I probably would not wax them because their skin needs to be rebuilt. I need to know exactly when they they use the Nair or they use the Magic, because I need to count up how many days it took to repair the skin, and from there I would consider doing a waxing. Because what would happen if I put waxing strip or hard wax on and then pull it up, the hair will be removed, but with the strip, also I could pull up the skin, so I could bruise the skin or pull skin off. Okay. Same thing for hard wax as well. All right. Depilatories can be inflammatory to skin and should not be used on sensitive skin types or on clients with waxing contraindications. I just stated that. Okay. It is redness. It could be sensitive to client skin and cause redness. Okay. In this case, do not use. Make sure we use a patch test. We talked about a patch test yesterday, and we'll probably need to go in and look at a patch test. Okay. And here's a few tips. Depilation refers to removing dissolving hair at the skin level. Okay. Dissolving hair at the skin level. Epilation refers to removing hair, including the hair roots, from below the skin. All right. So waxing is epilation. Okay. Nair is depilation, and shaving is depilation. Okay. At the skin level, which means you're going to see it grow back faster. Epilation means I'm removing it from under the skin as well. Please note, you need to know the difference between those two as well. Let's look at waxing. Okay. An epilator, remember epilation? An epilator removes the hair from the follicle's base, making the hair take longer to grow back, correct? You have two types, hard wax and soft wax. I'm going to show you a couple of types of wax that I like to use. Did you guys go, and you can go into the chat, did you go and follow Wax Club? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Did you check out Kristen Mermaid Wax as well? Okay. All right. It says both types of wax, hard wax, soft wax, are made primarily of resins. This is what I need you to understand. A resin is a glue. It is an adhesive, okay? Resin is another name for glue or adhesive. When you start working in nails, they talk about resin. It sticks, stuff stick, holds together, all right? When you start talking about fixing a tooth, it's a resin that the doctors will use, dentists will use, okay? When you talk about eyelashes, resins, adhesives, okay? So we're in the same category. And polymers. Polymers close, pull something together. Okay. We have polymers in our conditioners. It closes the cuticle. The purpose of the polymer, it closes the cuticle and prepares the hair for styling. That's what a polymer is. And so we have polymers in conditioners, creamy conditioners and leave-in conditioners. All right. And so with the wax, you need something that's able to pull off and stay together. All right. Both types of wax are made primarily of resins and polymers, but can also be made from sugars, honey, and sometimes beeswax. All right. Sugars, honey, and sometimes beeswax. So it's apply soft wax to the skin and then remove using wax strips. This is a lot right here because this helps in your procedure that you're going to do for stay bored. Those strips are made of pellet fiber or muslin, okay? Cotton. All right. So muslin strips kind of look like fabric, but it isn't. And then you have the pellet paper. It's a fiber. You'll see it mostly on like a round tube. Okay. Um, like a wheel almost, but it can come in any sizes whatsoever. I usually just buy one size and cut all my wax strips into whatever size I need them to be in. Hard wax is somewhat thicker and does not require fabric strips for removal. So soft wax does, hard wax does not. Soft wax is preferred for the face, okay? And then hard wax is suitable for all other areas of the body. Hard wax has been out for a minute, but it has become super popular in the last, since 2019. Super popular in this area, okay? Hard wax is somewhat thicker and does not require fabric strips for removal. So once it firms around the edges, you can pull it off, all right? And it is an excellent choice for sensitive areas such as the upper lip, inner thighs, bikini. A lot of people work full body off of hard wax. This is back waxing with soft wax. Just make sure you hold the skin taut and you pull back. You are not supposed to pull up, okay? And then, of course, upper lip waxing with hard wax. For me, you're going to take that stick to the end, twirl that stick around, and then pull it up, okay? Use your stick, use your tools to help you do what you need to do. Hold on one moment, get my message. Any questions so far? You can go to the chat or you can unmute. Any questions? All right. All right. So let's move on. I'm going to do a little highlighting for areas of reference. All right, here's some good stuff here. It says wax is available in various forms, including tubs and beads melted in a wax heater. I love beads, and I'm gonna show you my favorite one. Okay. Always check the manufacturer's instructions for heating, using, and removing the wax, as well as cleanup techniques. Okay. You are gonna wear gloves, all right, because we don't want to come in contact with bloodborne pathogens. So protecting us and protecting a client. Tennessee State Board is still heavily infection control. So you are going to wear gloves, okay? It says wax may be applied to various parts of the face, body, such as eyebrows, cheeks, chin, upper lip, arms, back, nape of neck, underarms, and legs. That's just the beginning, guys. I think I read an article This is waxing franchise. That there are over 300 areas of the body that you can wax. Okay. And I haven't started counting. Okay. But this is another one of those skills you should build if you're, wanting to build your hair clientele, but still you can do these wax services in place of as you begin to build. And remember, every client that you do, whether you do their hair, they should also be, for me, they are my color clients and they are my wax clients. That's what I love to do. So I may do a hair, but everybody who comes and for me to do their hair, they got to get some kind of color. Even if it's black, it's clear, it's whatever you wanted me to build something for your child, whatever. Okay. That's just my policy. Color. I only want color clients. But all clients that I do get other services. So I also will tell them I offer waxing services. And so you'll be surprised. I have a huge clientele of men for waxing services. I don't do manzilians. I don't do manzilians. Okay. And if I did, I would have someone in the room with me. It's just a bad experience, a courtesy. I just choose not to do men's waxing in intimate areas. So I'm gonna do the face, the scalp, the underarm. I can do the chest, the back, the arms, but I don't do anything past the stomach. Okay. Um, and I once had a waxing studio, and that was a lot of the clientele, men, foreign men that would come in and want waxing. And it was okay, but we could do it without the creepy vibes. So my goal first is to protect my people that are working for me. And yeah, we just don't do manzillions or any type of men's um waxing or hair removal past the stomach and chest. So belt buckle down, no sir. All right. Yes, you will be able to offer this service, and it is it's very easy to do once you understand what you're doing. You can do it, and it'll be a great. You're gonna realize how much money you've been leaving on the table. Okay. Now this is what I want you to look at too. Um, know your scope of practice, so you see what you can wax. Right there, you go. All right. Um, the hair should be at least 0.25 inches long for waxing to be effective. So you got to have some hair for me to remove. Okay. I like a particular wax where it is formulated to catch many, many micro hairs. All right. And so when you're applying a hard wax, I tell my students all the time, press. You need the hair to get in between the wax. The wax is going to remove the hair. If you don't press the product press the hair into the wax, you're going to have an issue where hair is still going to be there when you remove it. Okay. Now, the timer of this wax, as soon as it's taken out of the pot, the oxygen hits it, it's already beginning to harden. So you can't just figure out where I want to put it, where I want to put it. You got to have your place where you're going to put it before you take it out the pot. Because when you take it out the pot, you only have time for testing and then application. Okay. There are waxes that can go your speed. All right. And a person's body temperature is going to tell us how fast we can finish the service. If the client has a hot body temperature, and remember, we take a hot wax, the person's body temperature is too hot to remove anything. We're just going to play around and cause her to squirm a little bit. The body temperature must be normal to cool. All right. And this is why sometimes we have fans around this area as well. We want to cool the body temperature down so you can apply the wax, and the wax removes what you needed to remove. So you need to make sure your hair has some length, a quarter of an inch. Okay. Hair shorter than a quarter of an inch may not adhere to the wax. All right. But based on the type of wax you have, it just may. If hair is more than half an inch long, trim it before waxing. A lot of individuals do not do trimming. Okay, I do like to trim on women. I will trim bikini area. Okay, because the longer the hair, the more entangled it's going to get in the wax when I spread it. So it's going to already start hurting the client when I begin to spread it. All right, so most of the time you can take shears or a clipper. Okay. And sometimes I will take a clipper with a guard that's particularly for a feminine area. And I would just go over there and cut some of the hair down, get to work. If your client has hypertrichosis, it's replaced with terminal hair. Sometimes you gotta, it is long hair, you gotta cut that hair down. Okay. Here's some did you knows. Put it in pink. Always apply soft wax in the direction of hair growth. That was Tara earlier. Okay. If the hair is growing over to the left, you're going to apply the wax to the left, but we're going to remove towards the right. Okay. When it comes to hard wax, you can apply it and remove it in any direction. Okay. Any direction. If the wax is being if the person's hair is being resistant, I then will go against the grain. Okay. Applying it and go against the grain, removing it. I will see how that works after the first 2 or 3 times that I'm waxing. If I feel like it's not doing what I need to do, I'm going to revert back to any direction. Okay. It says bikini hair removal also has evolved into a form and become a sought after service. So Brazilian bikini waxing, it is a full technique. Okay. The Brazilian waxing breaks up into 3 parts. Okay. One, you have a panty line. Okay. So it's just, that's what they call bikini wax. They will have the bikini on and anything outside of the bikini, you wax. That's bikini waxing. Okay. Then you have a partial Brazilian, which means you remove everything from the front. You remove everything from the front. Then you have a full Brazilian, which means you remove everything from the front and then they turn over. You remove everything from the back. Okay. Now, when it comes to bikini as well, they do have a French bikini versus an American bikini. Okay. French bikini versus an American bikini. A French bikini is going to remove hair and leave something like a landing strip in the intimate area where the panty is. Okay. And then American, you're going to have more hair. So it's a wider landing strip, like a traditional bikini. And then the French is just going to remove everything but that little landing strip. And then Brazilian, they're going to remove everything. Okay. So my students that are going into waxing, you don't have to do what you see everybody else doing on social media. That is not the bar. Okay. Now that you're learning, you get to say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. Create a new bar because the level needs to come up. Create a new bar and everybody else's level is going to come up. And so I don't understand how people charge $30, $40 for a bikini wax for a Brazilian, because the one I was getting $100 in 2003. Okay, I was getting $100 in 2003, and it was for a full front. It was a partial Brazilian. It wasn't the full thing. Okay. And so I tell people all the time, charge your worth. If when you come out the gate, you gotta know where you are, your labor, your training, charge according to that, but also where you are, you add to that as well. Okay. And so I know there's one company here, they do a full body, including Brazilian, for like $65, $85. That would be for students coming out of school. It may be a start, but for students coming out of school, I would tell them to go to some place like go to a franchise and work for 6 months, see if they could do tuition reimbursement once you show them the receipts. Also, see if they do training. Most of them will do training because just say for instance, European Wax Center, you may have a timer of getting clients in and out in 15 minutes. You come in there, your time was not that fast. But as you work and train and you're in that environment, you'll notice that your timer, you're getting through with your clients faster. Okay. Um, Once you do that, I tell people all the time, you feel like you have an entrepreneur bug and you want to get out on your own, go to commission first, learn the business, let them train you on speed, let them build that up, and then come out and you're gonna be a beast. Okay? You're going to be a beast. And then here's the thing when you're on commission, it's not, oh, I didn't make any money this week, I'm good. No, you get written up. You gotta show some sign, you gotta show some action. Okay? It says bikini hair removal also evolved into an art form and became a sought after service. People also do coloring services on bikinis. So if their hair is pink, they want everything pink. Okay. Um, Brazilian bikini waxing. It's a waxing technique that removes all the hair from the bikini area, front and back. It is very popular. So, you guys gonna make sure you learn it. The method was named for the completely hair-free look required when wearing a Brazilian style bikini. Okay. So, and also this is a big thing for Brazilians as well. All right. So there's a couple of bikini waxing salons here in Memphis, South Haven. Check out Waxing in the City. I think it just opened up not too long ago in Olive Branch. Waxing in the City. It is a franchise. European Wax Center is in Memphis as well. It's a franchise. Pretty Girls Get Wax is amazing. I don't know if it's a franchise, but it's here. Okay. So start going to these different places just to see what they offer, just to see how they're doing business, see who's hiring. Okay. Might start off as a receptionist and end up being one of the techs by the time you graduate. Brazilian bikini waxing requires more specific training, especially some individuals would do just one piece for the vaginal area. I had a bad experience. We had a training and a student was going too far ahead. The trainer was like, "This is what you should be doing. You should be following me." And the young lady kept doing her own thing. And knowing that hard wax, once you take it out of this container, it starts to oxidize, it starts to harden. And when you have a high performance wax, which means something, it only takes you taking it out, putting it on the client, 3 seconds is ready to go. That's a high performance wax. Okay. High performance wax is going to need a person who is very speedy. If you are slow or just learning, you don't need a high performance wax. Okay. You don't need a high performance wax. All right. So you got to have the specific training. Even though we will teach you this here, always opt for some advanced training as well. Removing vellus hair may cause the skin to temporarily feel less soft. When waxing is done properly, the hair will not feel like stubble as it grows out. So you make sure you're doing it in the right direction. Removing the vellus hair too early, which means those individuals are waxing too early, it sends a signal that they're ready for terminal hair. They're ready for the big dog. Okay. Take a look at the waxing safety precautions. We will review them. Review them this week, and also you'll look at the procedures as well. Okay, the safety precautions. We're gonna watch a couple of videos and do a little sightseeing. You want to make sure that the wax pots are clean. You want to make sure you use gloves. If you cut the wax on in the morning, you do not leave it on all night. All right. So before you leave, you cut that wax pot off, and you need a wax pot that has a timer, or a wax pot that has a gauge that you can have low, medium, and high heat. Okay. Never when you come, well, when you come in the morning, you cut the wax pot on. I cut it all the way on, let it warm down. All right. And then once everything has melted, I will take it back to the halfway mark. So it's just at a calm state until someone is coming. Now I use a 5 and a 10 pound wax pot. I do have a 1 to 2 pound wax pot for soft wax, but I use hard wax, and I have a large wax pot. My wax pots, I paid maybe $275 for like three of them 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. Had them shipped to Memphis. I think my niece had a 10 pound at University of Memphis. I let her keep that one. But if you wax a lot, you're gonna look at the pots. All right. When you have a great pot made of steel and you cut it on, it does not take long to warm up. So that's why when I come in the morning, I'm gonna cut it on. Everything's gonna melt, and I'm gonna bring it back about halfway, a little under halfway. Because when my client come, I can just turn it up just a little bit, and while we're getting the client ready, that wax is ready to roll. It only took 2 or 3 minutes to get it to heat it back up to the maximum as well. Based on a person's skin texture, what they can take, especially them saying they're sensitive, it's going to tell you what type of wax you're going to use. All right. For me, I had a wax called King, and it was a Brazilian wax for men. It literally had less polymers in it. Okay. It had less polymers in it, which means it was a little rough. It had less buffers. Okay. And so when we come in for that wax day, we'll go over the pot and things of that nature. When it comes to underarms, they can be very sensitive. I personally use hard wax, and I don't like yanking. And so I only use the strip soft wax for the face. Okay. Everything else gets like a hard wax. And remember, we'll look at bruising, lifting, contraindications. If a person is on some other type of medications, if it's a medication for a major organ like the heart, lungs, stomach, intestines, even thyroid, endocrine, reproductive, pregnancy, all of that could irritate the skin. That meant the disease or whatever they got going on, the pregnancy, the medication could cause irritation of the skin. So a lot of individuals, if they're okay with taking an ibuprofen before they come, yay or nay. Otherwise, I'm gonna use a cortisone cream in the area the night before, and then I want them to put the cortisone cream. I want to be able to see it, or I can apply it and then remove it if they're super super sensitive. Also, you could take like lavender, peppermint, and you could take that essential oil and put it behind the ear. And what happens, that essential oil travels to the nose, and it starts to come and relaxing. So by the time you do remove the wax, they're not irritated. They didn't jump. They didn't feel any pain. So it's like you're using a little psychology on them as they come in to make sure that they're calm and relaxed. Okay. There's two sugaring businesses here. We've had NYC training come to the school, but I like Elena Barnes. Okay, I'm gonna tag her, Elena Barnes. She's a wax. She's a sugar and sugarless, and she trains. She also does personal classes. So I've had students that waxed before they got to the school. When they saw her and they took her class, they've done sugaring ever since. Their business is based off of sugaring. So she made them drop everything, and they loved what she was doing. And now that young lady is a sugar whack. I don't know what she's called, but I think it's called a sugarless. Uh, yeah, I don't. She's not a wax, but she's an esthetician. Let me just say that specializes in sugaring. Um, and she's in Tupelo, and she is doing very, very well. Okay. Now this is where you can create yourself with lemon juice, water, and sugar. Okay. You can refine it. You have individuals that literally make this themselves, so they don't have to purchase any products. And then there's a company called True and Sugar. That's one of the products I love. I learned with True and Sugar waxes, and I love it. And one thing about sugaring, if the skin is sensitive, if a person is going through, they always have some type of boil or something going on with their skin, I'm going to go with sugaring because waxing could cause some other issues. Sugaring is more organic and friendly to the skin, okay, because it doesn't have any additional chemicals. It is literally sugar, water, and lemon juice, okay. How long you let it set, how dark it gets, what type of honey, what type of sugar and things like that you use is going to give you the color as well. Okay. It's less painful, but it is a technique you have to learn. For me, because any little thing hurts, I started off sugaring my arms, and I don't know if I did it too much, but it hurts for me. But for some people, it don't hurt. And some people, that's all they get Brazilians, but they get sugar. They do the sugaring instead of the wax. I know people that's all she do is sugar the whole body. And I'm just like, I think I let my hair grow too long to get it. It is going to have to be, short, and I would need somebody else to do it. But I like sugar. I just have not taken the time to do more practice, but I can definitely do arms, but I do like it. And when you start to see the dead skin fall up into the ball, you'll know that it's time to get a new ball. And sometimes one jar lasts a long, long time. And sugaring can be a little on the expensive end, but if it's causing your skin to look softer, to have a better glow, it's getting rid of old dead skin cells because that's what's balled up into the sugar that causes it to look white and cloudy. That's old dead skin cells. Okay. It is considered holistic, okay, economic and ecosystem friendly. Okay. Now, if you can't get the ball, what I have done is taken a spatula, applied the sugar, and then taken a strip to remove it. So some people do that as well. They have a hard time removing, so they'll apply it and they'll just go get a soft wax strip and remove it as well. Okay, or you remove it with a spatula. So it just depends. It dissolves in warm water. So if it's something that stuck, it's too much, you just immerse that area in warm water. Okay. I'm gonna pause on here. We'll pick up on threading. Come. Let me go to YouTube. I'm gonna stop share, but let me go to YouTube because I want us to see a video really, really quick. I want to show you a wax company. Okay, here we go. Mermaid wax has a lot of fun colors and things like that. Um, and she has a signature series and a pro series. And so a lot of times start with the signature series. I wanted to show you, come on, hard wax.
Hey guys, it's Kristen with HK Wax Center. I'm going to show you how to apply hard wax. Now, if there's anything I don't answer in this video, any additional questions you might have, comment down below. You can also like, subscribe. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and if you are on Facebook, don't forget to check out Wax Club. It's for professionals only. So estheticians, cosmetologists, if you're currently in school, you're all welcome. Okay, so for this video, how to apply hard wax, I'm going to direct this for two different types of groups. First group are beginners. If you've never used hard wax before or very, very little, you just really don't know what you're doing, this is great for you. Now, this is also for a second group of people. Those are for professionals that already use hard wax, but maybe you're just trying to perfect your strip a little bit better. Just make sure you're really making it as perfect as possible. So for the second group, for those professionals, wait until you see me hold up a stick and I'm twirling it here, and then tune in there, because that's where I'll actually show you how to apply it. So you can skip all of the beginning things explaining the first steps before, because you already know how to do that. So you can start skipping forward. Now, for all my beginners or newer waxers, welcome. There's 5 key points to keep in mind when trying to know how to apply hard wax. So first one is using a high quality hard wax, getting the right consistency of the wax itself. Second or third one, I'm sorry, is going to be the actual prepping your skin, making sure you're doing that properly, applying the strip in the right way, and then last but not least, removing it in the right way. So like that, 5 key points. First one, using a high quality hard wax. I can't stress that enough. I promise it's going to make your life so much better. Don't get the really cheap waxes. It's going to break, it's going to cause a mess, it's going to snap the hairs, you'll end up using more in the long run. So please, if I can stress anything at all, use a high quality hard wax. I promise you will thank me later. Now, number 2, getting the right consistency of the wax. That's huge. If it's too hot, it's gonna burn your client. If it's too cool, it's not gonna adhere to the hair properly. So let me actually show you with some of the wax that I've got heated up here, and you can see the consistency of it. So with this one, I'm using mermaid wax in this video. This is the signature series. The color itself is Serena. So with this one, you want to look for honey or molasses. That's kind of the easiest way to describe it for the consistency of how the wax should move or feel. So if I get some on my stick right here, you'll see how slow it falls off the stick. Like I said, if it falls too soon, it's too hot. If it doesn't fall at all, it's too cool. So you want a happy medium. But yeah, you want it to move slow, like honey or molasses. It's perfect. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to getting the right consistency of the wax, I know a lot of people have contacted me asking, I can't get it to the right consistency, and I find out they're using a low quality warmer. It's going to make your life so much more difficult not using a quality warmer. I only use the best of the best, because this is what I do on a daily basis. Every day is wax, and I want to make it as easy on myself as possible. So I promise if you invest in a high quality warmer, it will change your life. But if you're getting one of those like little cheap, like $50, $100 ones from China, it's It's gonna suck. Sorry. Okay, so next is gonna be prepping the skin the right way. So first I'll use a pre-wax cleanser. That's to get off any kind of like oils, lotions, deodorant, makeup, dirt, anything like that, sweat. You don't want anything that's going to be in the way of the wax adhering to the hair itself. So make sure you cleanse the skin first. If they have dry skin, sometimes you can see a client has like dry flakes on them. You can tell if it's dehydrated. I'll apply a little bit of pre-wax oil. Now, if I don't see that, if I can tell they're hydrated, I won't use that. Just now for me, I'm in Texas, it's hot and humid here. So, it's not really necessary, but if you're in a more dry climate, then you might want to use oil on a more regular basis. But for me, if I only notice it, then I will, otherwise I won't. Now, if I'm doing underarms or like bikini Brazilian services, I'll put a little bit of cornstarch powder after I either cleanse an oil or just cleanse. That makes sure that any kind of moisture on the client itself, sometimes they're, even after you cleanse, they just get sweaty, they're nervous, you know, your nerves are going crazy. So I'll put a little bit of powder on top that gets rid of any kind of excess moisture that might have accumulated on there, and also just make sure that it's easy for the wax to directly stick to the hair. So like I said, bikini or underarm services, I'll apply a little bit of powder. So now let me get some wax on my stick, and we will allow all of the professionals to join us again. Welcome, guys. Okay, so for body services, this is for actual application. For body services, I'll make sure I get all of the wax on one side of my stick, just like that. And then I will take it, apply in the direction of the hair growth. So I will get all of the wax off my stick, and then I'll apply upwards, since my hair is growing up in this case. Go to the top, make my lip, and then come back down, just like that. Perfect. So you want to make sure that your edges are nice and smooth. If they're not smooth, the wax can crack, break, and that's not fun. So make sure you have nice smooth edges, just like that. Make a little lip at the end. That just allows it easy for you to pop the wax off like that. And then make sure, again, nice and smooth right on the bottom. That ensures that the whole strip is going to come up in one piece and not multiple pieces. And then remove. Perfect. Let me do it one more time so you can see it again. This time we're gonna do a cleanup strip. So a cleanup strip is going to be after you've done your initial strip and get the initial hair pulled off. The cleanup strip, little leftover hairs that didn't want to come out the first time, this is for those guys. So you'll apply in the opposite direction. So I will start up. Use a lot of pressure. You're not going to hurt your client. Don't worry about that. They'll be fine. So use pressure, and in this case I will be going down. Just like that. Perfect. Now, one thing to keep in mind too, if you make a strip and you're not happy with it, maybe like this edge right here is a little too thin, you can go back and add a little bit more wax. That's totally fine. It's better to add more wax to a strip and make sure it's going to stick together. Then don't do that, and then the wax is potentially going to crack and break, and that's just going to suck. So like I said, if I wanted to add more here, no big deal. Totally fine. I do it all the time. Don't worry about that. Now, the last thing to keep in mind is how to remove it in the right way. This is something I also see a lot of people doing wrong. So they will, let's see if I can do this here. Okay, so they will remove it in a perpendicular direction, meaning out, like this. See how it's pulling my skin like that? That hurts. That's not comfortable. Don't do that. Instead, you want to pull it like this, where it's parallel to the strip. That will allow it to very cleanly be pulled out of the root of the hair follicle and not snap. So like I said, don't pull it like this.
There you go.
Pull it like this, up, just like that, okay? So parallel, not perpendicular, and you'll be fine. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I will also have a blog down in the link, a blog down in the description, a link to a blog. That way, if you want to see more detailed information, I've got that for you. I have plenty of other videos. I promise you can do it. You'll be fine. Any questions, let me know. This is Kristen, the HK Wax Center. I'll see you next time.
And so I want you guys to make sure you check out her videos But not only, I like Kristen because not only do she have, she's, she has a wax, but she's educational. Most of the time, if you don't have any education, um, I'm not purchasing the wax. Now, here's another one. Baradin has been around. This is the OG, the traditional that has been in blue. I love Baradin, but they have a strong side about changing stick spatulas. They like to use the same spatula, and she even had like a big argument in the wax group with this company. So they have great training. It's a beautiful wax, but we're going to change our sticks every time. And she has something where she says the machine or the heat kills the bacteria, so you don't have to change it. But no, for Tennessee, you're gonna change it. So let's look at her underarm, and then we'll begin to close for the day.
I love how much I can bundle and save on insurance at Liberty Bibbity.
And I love that you love how much you can bundle and save.
I love it. You love it.
I love that you love that I love that you love to bundle and save.
All right, underarm waxing with the Wax Queen and Baradin wax. We're going to cleanse with the lavender. And even though you can only see one underarm, of course I'm going to do both.
Take observation.
A little bit of jasmine oil.
Take observation
Tiny
in the
little bit.
direction
Really
of
easy.
the hair growth. This is very important for the underarms. Both of you guys can offer these services, but I'm going to teach you in 3 parts, and a lot of the videos will probably teach you in 1 or 2 parts. So you're going to start from your beginning, and then you'll move forward. But look at the direction of the hair growth. I just want you to always observe that. Look at the longer hairs, and this is definitely terminal hair because we can see it is darker and it's longer. This is not baby hair, okay? So I want you to check this out. And she's already applied a cleanser, which helps remove the oil, sweat, and dirt. And now she's applying like a jasmine oil. You will find some individuals that will use oil before they would use baby powder and stuff like that. And the oil acts as a cleanser as well. So you will see that in a lot of products. And the jasmine helps calm the skin down.
Easy for underarms to get too wet. So I like to oil, clean, oil, and then blot. I find it leaves the perfect amount of moisture and protection behind. So we're going to, he doesn't have that many hairs per square inch. So I'm going to do kind of a bigger strip. Is that warm?
Just sensitive.
Yeah. Because I went further than the hair, it's really easy to get it to release from the skin. Here. So I took the strip from the other side and pressed it, so that gives me my edge to pull from. You're pressure sensitive too, huh? Underarms, when they first get done, quite often they will have a little bit of spotty bleeding like you saw. it's scarier than it matters. So don't tell the client and don't care. It will stop almost immediately.
When you see the bleeding, it tells you that nothing else is in that pore. So it's a good thing, not a bad thing.
And what I'm wiping with is the lavender lotion again. So it just feels good. I'm putting it on the cotton and I'm wiping it, and it's kind of calm and cool. And then I will finish with essential oil, the post-wax essential oil, lavender, jasmine, peppermint, cypress, calms and cools. And besides, a well-manufactured essential oil is always antibacterial, antimicrobial. I'm finished with the post-wax soothing cream. There you go. Underarm waxing by yours truly.
All right. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. You're going to continue to read that chapter. I'm going to go further and do a virtual training on that chapter, and I'll send you the link. But you continue reading that chapter, and I'm going to send you a few videos, and then we'll pick back up on our next class.